Hello and welcome to Cracking 1 Million Passwords with Python. You're joining us for this special CyberSkills Live as part of Computer Science Education Week. For this year's Hour of Code, we want you to explore, play and create with code. And with computer science, we can do all sorts of amazing, inspiring, thrilling and fun things. My name's Daniel, I'm an engineer, and I'm interested in all things tech and security. And today you are about to get hands-on and learn cybersecurity skills in this interactive activity. Our digital world is powered by technology. From exchanging messages to turning on the lights, we rely on tech every day without realizing the impact that it has on our lives. It's really important that we keep it protected properly. If you're thinking about a career in cybersecurity, you would play a really key role in protecting this digital world that we have. In fact, in Scotland, for every 2 jobs in this area, there's only 1 applicant. So that means there's a really huge opportunity for you to have an interesting career. We need more people with digital skills to help make us more resilient against cyber attacks. Now, I'm coming to you today from my Security Operations Centre, and there are hundreds of you tuned in right now, watching us, joining us on the live stream. I'm here with Python programmer and password cracker extraordinaire, Craig. Hey Craig, how are you?
Hi Daniel, I'm really excited for this morning. Hello everyone and happy Computer Science Education Week. Thank you for joining us today as well. There is a really wide range of careers in the cybersecurity industry. Technology skills are really valuable, but it's not just a career for techies. There's a lot more to it than just sitting behind a computer. There are jobs in marketing, digital forensics, legal, project management and more. It really goes across all sectors and skills. It is a career option for everyone. Now, the career, Daniel, that we're talking about today is working as a forensic computer analyst. If you're a teacher and you're taking part with your class today, you can tweet us and let us know how your class is going on with the password cracking. So you can use the hashtag below me, you can use hashtag Hour of Code, and you can tag at Digital World HQ.
So today you are going to be forensic computer analysts, and using Python code, you're going to see how cyber criminals can crack passwords.
Passwords prevent people from accessing our computers, important websites and personal emails. In this interactive lesson, you'll step into the shoes of a cyber criminal and use computer code to attempt to crack a massive collection of passwords. The video streaming website Catflix has been attacked by a gang of cyber criminals. The gang have stolen the login details for 1 million customers and released them onto the web. Each line of the leaked file contains a customer's username, their email address, and a version of their password. So, how are passwords stored? Well, if a company wants to save your password, they shouldn't just save it into a file as plain text. That way, if someone had access to that file, they'd be able to just read everyone's passwords. In this example, before they save your password, they pass it through a hashing function. The hashing function takes the plaintext password and turns it into a hash value that looks like this. It doesn't look like the original password anymore. It's that hashed version of the password that is stored. The best thing about using a hashing function is that it only works one way. Once something has been hashed, it's almost impossible to work out what the original word was. So when a user tries to log in to Catflix, they take the password that you've typed, they hash it, and then they compare it with the hash that they have stored for you. If those hashes match, then they let you in. So if a gang of cyber criminals has a collection of these hashed passwords, it's almost impossible to take those hashes and turn them back into the original passwords. But there is a weakness. Lots of people use weak passwords. That's passwords that are easy to guess. So we might guess that someone has used a simple password like football as their password. And there's a good chance that one of those 1 million users has done that. So we can just hash that word and try to find the hash in the list. Here it is. So now we know that John is using the password football. We've cracked it. Now it's your turn. You can write code to try and work out some of the passwords on the leaked list. Follow the instructions and let's see how many of these 1 million passwords you can crack.
So let's get started. You are going to investigate this massive list of leaked passwords and see how many you can crack. You ready, Craig?
I'm ready.
You're ready, perfect. So what you need to do when you're in your classroom is head to cyberskillslive.com. It's at the bottom of your screen right now. And at the top of the page, you'll see cracking 1 million passwords. You want to click a button that says to start the live lesson to join the activity. It's going to work in any modern web browser. If you're using Chrome or Firefox or Edge, this is going to work in your web browser. So just follow the instructions on screen once you head to the website.
So we know some of you have already started. If you haven't, you still got time. You go to cyberskillslive.com and then at the very top, there's a button that says start the live lesson. It's going to work in any of your web browsers like Chrome or Firefox. You're going to follow the instructions and that will let you take part in the activity today. Now there's hundreds of you taking part. There's lots of people connecting to this stream just now and playing on the website. So if at some point it goes a bit slow for you or it's not working immediately, just give it a minute and then refresh the page and everything will be working again. We're all going to be working on this together. We're going to try and crack as many passwords together. And Daniel, you and I are going to try and do a little bit of pair programming live online. How terrifying is that? Should we try that?
I know. I hope we don't make too many typos. So yeah, if you do find you get stuck, we're going to be able to give you some hints and tips if we see any issues. There's also an important reset button. We'll show you where to find that in just a couple of minutes. But before we kind of move on to the activity, we'll give you a bit more time to get onto the website and get started. So, Craig, is this something that actually happens? Like, do these big lists of passwords genuinely get leaked?
Absolutely. Like LinkedIn, which is a social network that's used by a lot of businesses and professionals, they had a cybersecurity incident where millions of their users' emails and passwords were leaked. Now, they didn't just have 1 million passwords being leaked. The report said it was up to 700 million passwords. And cybersecurity experts said that their passwords that were leaked were actually really easy to unscramble because of the way that LinkedIn had been storing them at that time. And that's the same problem that you're investigating today with the Catflix data breach.
Ah, okay. So this really is a real problem that we are solving. So this data breach that we're investigating today is a fictional one. We're not actually using real people's passwords. These are dummy passwords that we've made up, but we are using the same kind of tools and following the same processes that you would take if you worked in forensics and you had been given one of these big data breaches. So this is actually representative of how a cybercriminal might be going about breaking these passwords. So Craig, I think what we can do is we're going to play along with you. So you can code along with us, or you can kind of just check in with us and see how you're getting on. And we'll show you how the activity works and how to get started.
We're able to see how you're getting on. We'll be able to see how you're progressing, and we'll be able to, see if you can either follow along with us or do it at your own speed. So Daniel, let's bring up the code. Let's see how we do.
Okay, so here is our website, Craig. So if you've clicked to start the activity, it's taking you to this page here, and we've got a bit of introductory information that Craig basically ran through in that video that you just watched a minute ago. So I'm going to skip that and hit next. So we've got a task here, task 1. And task 1, Craig, is to use Python to hash a simple password.
So each task is going to work the same way. You're going to get your trinket window, which is this bit here. That's where you'll write the code. On the left-hand side is where you'll be copying and pasting the code or typing parts of the code. And on the right-hand side, that's where the instructions are. And Daniel, you did a good thing there. You moved that little bit so that you could see more of it as well.
Yeah, we can change the instructions. So if you've got a big or a small screen, you might want to adjust this to make it more comfortable for you.
If you can also make it full screen as well, there's a little button at the top left, Daniel. We don't need to do that just now, but if you click that, that would make it full screen as well. But Daniel, why don't we work through the first task together?
Yes, so we've got some instructions on the right hand side here that we're going to follow to do task 1. So let's follow the steps in order. So step 1 says let's use Python code to see an example of a hashed password. Change the code in line 4 to be this line here. And in fact, Craig, underneath it there's a hint. It's saying to use copy and paste. Why are we recommending people copy and paste, Craig?
Well, it's one of the best tools you can use as a computer programmer. It means you're not going to make a typing mistake. So yeah, copying the code straight in means that you're not going to, you're not going to accidentally put something in the wrong place or make a small typo. So if we paste that in, just like the instructions, so edit paste or use the command key, and now we should be able to run the code. So if you press run.
Yep, so step 2 is to press the run button to run the code. So the run button's right at the top, it's the play button. So we're going to press that. And we've got a result now. So we switch to the results tab and it says the hash of the word is 8F2174 blah 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 blah, and it ends in 14F0. Okay, let's go back to our instructions and see what we do next. So we'll go back to the instructions. I'm going to scroll down a bit, and it says here you should see this result. And yeah, that is what we had. It started 8F2 and it ended in 14F0. Yep, that's the same result. Perfect. Our code works, Craig. We have working code.
That's a good start.
That's a good start.
So step 3, change the code to try hashing another word. So what is the hash of the word panda? So if this code at the moment, Daniel, on line 4, it's hashing the string night. So really we just want to change that word night to be the word or the string panda.
Yeah, I think you're right, Craig. So yeah, right now we're hashing the word night. We don't want to do that. We want to hash the word panda. So let's get rid of the word night. There we go. And then we're going to press run again. And we have our hash here. So our last instruction was to copy and paste that result into the quiz below. So we've got a box here and a question saying what is the hash of the password panda. So let's go back up and get that. So we're going to copy and paste. Now I'm going to use Control C to copy. That's a tip for you. It will maybe make it a little bit quicker. So Control C, and then I get Control V to paste, or I could right click and click paste. And now we're going to click to check my answer. And Craig, we are correct.
A good
that
sign.
Is the right answer.
A good sign. Now, if you get to this point and you've got task 1 completed, you can log that with us. You can tell us that you've got to the end of that task. So once you've got that correct answer, you can click messages and you can just tell us in this message box that you've completed task 1. So you need to tell us the name and the school that you're at, your first name, and you can tell us that you've completed task 1. So why don't you do that, Daniel?
Yeah, so I finished task 1. And my name is Daniel at Digital Skills Education. And you can put your own name and your own school in there. And I'm going to hit send.
Perfect.
Perfect. Okay.
So we'll have that in our systems.
Can we do one more task, Craig?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. So we've got another task here. Let's scroll down again. And this one's called lists and loops. So we're going to again follow the instructions to see what to do in the code.
Okay. So what have we got here then? So step 1. It says try running the code by pressing the run button. It will display the hash of elephant. Okay, try running that.
Yep, I can see that there. And in fact, there's a question down here about what is the hash of the word elephant. So I think let's put that in the box. Brilliant, we're correct. Okay, so step 2, let's create a list of words to hash. So we need to change line 4 to be this here. And it's cut off slightly, so I'm going to make this bigger. Copy and paste. I want to change line 4 to be this. Copy that. And put that on line 4. So rather than it just hashing the word elephant, we're going to hash elephant, telescope, football, and password. I'm going to paste that in there. We've now added a list of words, and we need to use a loop to go along that list and hash each item in the list. So we've got some more instructions here. It says delete the code in lines 6 and 7 and replace it with this code. Okay, so let's get rid of the code on line 6 and 7. Gone. And we've got some more code that we need to copy and paste. I'm going to do it as one big block, Craig. Now the reason I'm doing it as one big block is because see how this is slightly indented? That indent is really important. What that's saying is it does these lines of code inside this loop. So if we didn't have the indent, it wouldn't know they're in the loop and it might not work properly. So I'm going to copy and paste it as one big group. And we're going to put that on line 6 because that's where we got rid of the code before. I'm going to paste that in. And here we go. Step 4, try running the code now. It will go through each word in the list of words and print the hash. That's what we want. This is much quicker than doing each one individually. Let's find out if it is. Let's press run. Oh, there we go, Craig. Look, we've got elephant, telescope, football, and password all in one go. That is better.
And is there a little quiz question at the bottom there? Yeah, we've done those. So, if you've completed that task, then why don't you send us the hash of the word football to prove that you've done it? So like, get the hash of the word football. You're going to put that in the message box and make sure you put your name and your school as part of that as well. So you don't need to do it, Daniel, because I know that you've got it right, but that's where you would put it.
Yeah, so you put it in here and then you would say Daniel at. I'm just going to make that a bit shorter for now. But yes, this is how you do it. So you can put in the hash and then you can say your name and your school. But you've just seen me do it.
People are already completing tasks 1 and 2, Daniel.
Are
they? Yeah, Cameron from Douglas Ewart High School has completed task 1. And Becky from Douglas Ewart High School has also completed task 1 as well. So I think Douglas Ewart High School is actually doing very well, and Havana from Cross Arthurlie has also completed task 1 too, and Evan at Garnock has also as well, and Helena from Lochside Primary. I can tell that there's a lot of people playing it right now, Daniel, as well.
Yeah, I can see there's lots of messages coming in, and yeah, it looks like Douglas Ewart have been the fastest to get on there. maybe you got a wee head start. But yeah, that's brilliant. I can see Lochside Primary, Garnock. Good job.
Let's give people a few minutes then just to work through that, Daniel. I think I've got a list of some of the schools here that are taking part today.
Yeah. In fact, before we do that, Craig, let's show people what to do if they get stuck.
Oh, go for it.
So, if you get stuck and the code isn't running, so let's pretend I've made a mistake. In fact, let's actually make a mistake. I'm going to change this so there's a typo in here, right? So let's get rid of
a big Z.
A bracket or something. So let's say I maybe didn't copy and paste it quite right. The code isn't running. We've got an error. Now, you can either look at the error code and see, okay, it's on line 4 and there's an unmatched bracket. Now, if you've done some programming before, you might know what that means. You might know that that means there's another bracket missing and look at it and see. But if this is your first time using Python, don't worry about it. What I would recommend you do is just reset your code. So if you go into the menu and click reset, it will say it's going to undo all of your current changes. That will just take you back to the start of this step. So if I press yes, it just resets the code back to the start of that step and you can follow the instructions again. Don't worry, it'll only take you a few minutes. In fact, it might only take you 30 seconds to make those changes again, and I'm sure your code will work that second time. So that's a good tip for you. If it's not working, just press reset. And if you're really having trouble, you can always just move to the next step in the activity. I would recommend you try and get it working first.
Let's let people work through this, Daniel, for a couple of more minutes. And just to say that thank you for all the schools who are taking part today. We can see that there's a lot of you working through it right now. Daniel, do you want to give a shout out to some of the schools that you can see taking part today?
Yeah, I can see we have people joining from Galashiels Academy. Hello and good morning to you. Garnock Community Campus. I can see some of you have completed task 1 and task 2 already. In fact, I think some of you are slightly beyond that already. Brilliant work. Givenwick Primary School, you're tuning in as well. Brilliant. Thank you for joining us. And we've also got some college students joining too from Glasgow Clyde College. So yeah, let us know how you get on. Remember, you've got that message box in the bottom right. Let us know when you complete a step and let us know the kind of answer to that question that you've been asked.
I can also see Bertha Park High School. You've been taking part today. And Clydebank High School, thank you for joining us. We've already seen some of the pupils from Cross Arthurlie Primary School, but thank you for joining us today. And representatives from East Renfrewshire Council, thank you for joining the session today. Okay, so we've had a few people working through these first few steps as well, Daniel. This is really good. This is, to get through these 8 steps, I think there's 8 tasks to work through. And you're going to be working through each step, and that's going to lead you to cracking a bigger set of passwords. So I can see that Cameron from Garnock has been doing well, working through that. And Zach and Robbie, you're working through the activity as well.
I can see here that Cameron at Douglas Ewart has completed task 1, and so has Lucas at Lochside Primary, and Emily at Giffnock Primary. You've finished task 2 already. Great going.
Well done, Layla from who's completed task 1 and 2 from Lochside as well. Thank you for joining us today. Keep going, keep working through these activities.
Greg, the message box is going crazy. People are completing so many tasks right now. Some people have moved on to task 3. I think some people are on task 4. Don't worry if you're just joining and you're just getting started. There's no rush. We've got plenty of time to work through these. They're going to stay up here so you can work at your own pace. If you haven't already gone onto the website, it's cyberskillslive.com. There's a button at the top that says start the live lesson, and just follow the instructions to edit the Python code.
Why don't we give people just a wee minute, Daniel, to work through this before we maybe take on a few more tasks?
Good idea, Craig. We'll be back in just a minute. Good going, everyone. I can see lots of you are working through this code and you're able to edit it and getting some hashes. So well done to Ruby at Giffnock Primary, Laurel, who's at Cross Arthurlie Primary School, Becky, who's at Douglas Ewart. You've finished task 3. Brilliant. In fact, I think, Craig, we should maybe show people task 3 in just a second.
Why don't we go through that as well? I can see quite a few people from Prestwick Academy. Finlay, thank you for that as well. And Isa from Giffnock Primary, you're working through the tasks today as well. Daniel, why don't we go through some of the, just quickly go through a few more of the tasks while people work through this as well?
Yeah, good idea, Craig. Let's bring up the code again. So here we go. Here is task 3. And task 3 is called which hash. So again, we've got some instructions at the top. We're just going to quickly work through this just to show you what you have to do. So if you prefer to follow along with us, then you can. So this first step, Craig, is we need to change line 2 to be this. So I'm going to change line 2 to be this. So we're importing some extra functions that we're going to use. Step 2, we're going to copy some more code and put this on line 7. Now there isn't a line 7 yet, so we're going to have to add a line 7. So we're going to go into 6, press enter, paste our code. It's in here. Now run the code. It will display the names of all the different hash functions. Cool. Yep, that's working, Craig.
That's good. You've got a better view of it than me, so you keep going through that then.
Okay, so step 4 is to add some more code starting at line 9. So I'm going to copy and paste this all together as one big block, make it easy for myself. Add some new empty lines in, paste this code in. And what it's saying here is this code is going to hash the word rainbow1515 and store it in a variable called result. And it's using the SHA-1 algorithm. So that's an algorithm that can be used to hash passwords. And it checks to see if that matches the one on the list. So let's run the code and see if it's a match. Not a match, Craig. So I think that means Catflix must be using a different algorithm. They're not using SHA-1. So, okay, Craig, should we try a different hash function?
Yeah, well, why don't we, can you see like a list of all the different hashes that are available?
Yeah,
here they are. Yeah, so in Python, we have access to all these different hashing algorithms and they work in different ways. So we've got one called MD5, SHA-224, SHA-1, and okay, so if it isn't a match, then that means it's not currently using the one that we just had, but it could be one of these other ones. So really, Daniel, the only way to do it is to go through this and change it so that it's using a different algorithm.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to do that. So let's try a different one. So let's change the code so that it uses SHA-224. So we'll follow the instructions as they're written here. So I'm going to change line 9. So rather than using SHA-1, we're going to use SHA-224. That's just a different function that will do a similar type of thing. So change line 9, press run. It's not a match, Craig. You're going to have to try some more. So,
well, I think people are just going to have to work through it and then tell us in the chat, Daniel, tell us in the message box if they can work out what is the correct one to use.
I've had a tip off in the chat, Craig, that it might be someone suggesting it's MD5 in the message box.
Rebecca at Garnock, thank you very much for that bit of intelligence, Rebecca. Yes, I can see that now. So why don't we try Rebecca's?
Let's try Rebecca's suggestion. So I'm going to change SHA-224 to MD5.
And Ben as well is confirming that. Ben from Douglas Ewart High School saying MD5 as well.
Right, that has saved us a lot of time, Craig. So Rebecca and Ben, good job. Thank you for telling us that in the chat. So
and Evan as well. We've got a lot of people saying that seems to be the one. Yes, we did it.
That's correct.
So much better. Thank you very much for everyone who sent us in that. See, Daniel, who needs an artificial intelligence to help you program when you can have 600 primary and secondary school pupils from across Scotland helping us?
I know.
So
saves a lot of time.
So let's have people keep working through this just now. I think everyone's doing a great job here, Daniel.
Yeah, I think people are doing really well here. So we'll give you a chance to keep working through it. And then I'm going to do task 4 in just a second. Maybe I'll not narrate it. I'll just stay quiet so you can focus on the task. So if you want to watch me doing task 4, you can watch me doing task 4. If you want to focus on the task you're working on, you can do that too.
A lot of people are enjoying their hour of code today, Daniel. I can see that people have been telling us in the chat that they're having an amazing time. This is so much fun. They really enjoy it as well.
Hey Craig, I've done task 4. So task 4 is all about trying to see if anyone in our list of leaked passwords. Now the passwords are in that kind of hashed format. We can't see what the word is, obviously. We need to be using that code to find the hash of some words and see if there's a match. So what we're doing in task 4 is trying to see if anyone is using the word password as their password. So what the code does is it hashes the word password, and then it compares it against all the people on this list. And if there's a match, what it tells us in the results. So if you're doing task 4, tell us the emails of the people who have used the word password as their password. I'm sure there's going to be at least 1 or 2 people that are doing that, because you would think would be better than that. You think people are better at choosing passwords than choosing their password. But sometimes there are people that still do it, Craig. It's unbelievable, but password is still one of the most popular passwords.
Absolutely. So we'll give you a minute or 2 to do that. You can send us in your answers. I just thought, Daniel, I should give a shout out to some more of the schools who are taking part today as well. Let me just see who I can see. So some of the schools and groups taking part this morning. We've got Glasgow Code Learning Programme. Thank you for joining us today. We've got Lochside Primary School. Thank you for joining us. And Prestwick Academy, give us a big cheer in your class as well. I know a lot of you are taking part from there today. Thanks for joining us today.
Craig, we've got some careers advisors joining us too from Skills Development Scotland. We've also got schools from across South Ayrshire Council tuning in and taking part too, cracking passwords. Stanwell School, you are also joining cracking passwords. And Stirling High School as well. Thank you for joining us once again.
Veterans of these types of activities.
They
Some of these names and schools I recognise from taking part in all of our activities. Now, we are on YouTube, Daniel, so if you are watching today and you're a teacher, you can like this video, you can subscribe to the channel so that you can see more videos and live streams like this as well. We couldn't be on YouTube without telling people to like and subscribe, Daniel.
No, so if you are a teacher, an adult tuning in and watching on YouTube, why not subscribe to the channel or like the video? What that means is when we go live again, we run lots of lessons like this. We also put guides on how to do some of our other activities, which we'll talk about a bit later. If you're subscribed to us, you're going to get a notification whenever we are going to be broadcasting live for more resources just like this one.
You could also tweet us at Digital World HQ. You can use the hashtag Hour of Code to see how you're getting on. Now, some people are sending us messages, Daniel. They're wanting things like shout outs. I have to say, you're only going to get a shout out if you can send us the intelligence and the answers that we're looking for. So make sure you keep working through the activities and we'll shout out some of the correct answers as we do it.
Craig, we've got quite a few answers for task 4. Cameron at Garnock is saying the answer is 2. 2 people have used the word password. Jake is telling us the same too. Ed as well. Finlay at Giffnock Primary has also cracked task 4 and said 2 people using password for their password. Well, Craig, that's consistent with what I found here. I found that shughes at jackson.com and Wayne59 at yahoo.co.uk are both using the word password as their password. 2 passwords have been cracked. So we are. So that's really exciting. We have found in that list of 100 people from our data breach, we have found that 2 of them are using the word password as their password. Now, it's not just 100 people that we've got to look through. We've got 1 million passwords that we need to work through.
That's right. We're going to need to do this together, Daniel. We're going to need to do this together.
So the next few steps in the activity, so there's going to be a few more tasks like tasks 5 and 6 and 7. They're going to gradually step up the number of passwords that you are sifting through. So rather than just being like 100, you're going to start looking at 1,000. Or not just the word password, what about some of the other most popular passwords? So Craig, because We've maybe got about 10 minutes left in this session. What would you suggest people do at this point?
I think at this point, I'm interested in getting as many of these passwords as possible. So what I would like you to do is I want everyone to move on to task 8, which is the final task. So you can use the next buttons at the bottom of the screen to move on to task 8. That's the final set of code. And what we're going to do is together, we're going to try and use that final program to try and crack as many passwords as possible. So we've got about 10 minutes, Daniel, to do this. So let's show us what task 8 looks like, just so that people have an idea that they're on the right page.
Yes, so let's go back to the code. And here we are. So we're currently on task 4. Let's skip through to task
Straight
5,
on.
6, 7, and task 8. So, Craig, what do we do on this task? What's happening?
So what you're going to be doing here is we've got that massive list of 1 million passwords that's been split into 40 different parts. So what you're going to have to do is crack each part one at a time. And to do this, you're going to follow those instructions in the right. So you're basically going to open up one of the parts, and then you're going to select everything. So maybe, could you do that, Daniel? Yeah, could you?
Yeah, let's follow the instructions and do it. So each part has 25,000 passwords for us to try and crack. So we're going to open part 1 using the link. So I've just done that and opened it in a new tab. So it's saying select all of the names and the passwords. And as a tip here, pressing Control and A will select all, and we copy them and put them in the leaked data list tab. So let's copy all of these. Like Craig, it said there's 25,000 in here. That's a crazy number of people.
That's a lot. And 25,000 in each part, Daniel, as well.
And we've got 40 parts.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to the leaked data list, and we're going to empty that out, and we're going to paste in these 25,000. So here we go. I can see we've got 25,000 lines, Craig. Perfect. That's what we'd expect. It's saying here now, run the code, and how many did you crack? So let's run the code. Now it's running. What it's doing is it is going to see if anyone is using a password that's in the top 1,000 most used passwords, and see if any of these 25,000 people are using one of those top 1,000 passwords. So it might take a bit of time to run. In fact, it might
take a bit of time.
Yeah, because there's so many of you doing this at the same time. But here we go. We've got some results.
So this is us cracking the passwords here, Daniel, because look, we can see the username and then what that person's password is. So I can tell you that Callum Graham is using the password football. We can see that Wayne is using the password password. Johnson Rachel is using the popular password Bulldogs as well, Daniel. So like, this is what we want you to do. We want you to go through each of these parts and crack as many passwords as possible. And you can tell us some of those answers. If you find someone's password and you want to tell us it, you just copy and paste that part into the message box and include your name and your school, and we'll be able to see some of these passwords that we've cracked.
Yeah, if you find an interest or a funny result in here, then yeah, tell us what it is and tell us your name and your school, and we'll keep an eye on that and see how many that we can find. Let us know as well what part you're working on. Choose a part and then jump to that. You don't have to do them in order. You can do any of these that you like. See
Let's
how many.
Let's move off of that, Daniel, and let people work through that just now. So we've got a couple of minutes left. Let's see how many of these passwords we can get cracked as well. I'm excited, Daniel. I feel like a password cracker, and you know, we've got that 1 million list. We've got the code working. Everyone's working through it well today.
I know, I bet you didn't think when you started there would genuinely be 1 million passwords for you to crack. But there really is. There is 1 million passwords for you to try and work through. So again, jump to step 8 and follow the instructions to copy the passwords in, put them in the leaked list and press run. And in the message function, you can tell us something interesting you found.
Some of you told us in the chat that this is the first time you've ever done Python programming before. This is the first time you've cracked passwords. Well, first of all, I hope this is the first time you've ever tried to crack passwords. But also, we're not going to go easy on you. We're not going to give you 100 to break. We want the full million, please. Let's do it. People are working through it now, Daniel. Let's give them another minute or two to keep going. You can see Clydebank High School playing along, taking part. Thank you for joining us today.
Yep, and I can see here that Rory, who's at Douglas Ewart High School, has managed to crack 479 different passwords in part 1 of the file. So, good work with that part 1.
Yeah. Jamal has suggested that Craig's password is doll. No, I don't think so, Daniel.
No?
I would have a stronger password than that. It would be at least it'd be at least doll1 with a capital. Well, they're all starting to come in now, Daniel. Lots of people starting to crack these passwords.
There's a few of you saying that it's taking time to load. It takes a while because it's comparing
25,000.
But it's not. But it's comparing 25,000 people against 1,000 passwords. So that's actually doing like 25 million calculations when you press the run button. 25 million, and there are hundreds of you doing it. So we are in the
give it a minute.
We are in the thousands of millions here. So it's very busy. So if it does come up with an error, count to 10 and then press run again, and I'm sure it will work that second time. And if it is coming up with an error code, remember you can reset it. Don't worry about losing progress. Step 8 is quite a quick one to do.
Yeah, if it says running, I think what a lot of you are seeing is that the first couple of tasks, when you ran it, they completed within a second or two. If it's running for a long time, that's because there's a lot of passwords. There's a lot of work that's been done to make things crack. And that is the thing. Like, if you choose a really strong password, that length of time that it would take to break is so long that it's basically unreasonable. It'd be like millions of years it would take to break. Whereas if people are using a short password, like you've seen there, Daniel, people were using passwords like the names of football teams or their pets' names and stuff like that. That was only taking, it's still taking a minute or two, but it's only taken a few seconds to break.
Well, Craig, remember I pressed run about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
In part 1, it's still going.
Great.
It's still going. So I can see like Chelsea Allen is using 1989. Summer Graham is using Courtney. Leah Powell is using Angels as their password. It's still finding results, so it will take a bit of time. So don't worry if it is still loading.
Andrew has cracked 982 passwords. That's Andrew from Douglas Ewart High School on part 1. So even just from that first set, we've cracked over 982. Lots of answers starting to come in through now.
Yes, I can see that some of you are still working through the different tasks. So I can see Callum at Douglas Ewart has finished task 6. So has Jasper.
Let's give it 1 more minute, Daniel. 1 more minute. I'm so pleased everyone's managed to break so many so far. I know some of you it's still running. Give it another minute or so to finish doing all that work.
Yeah, and the good news is if you are a teacher and you want to spend a bit longer on this, well, this website is going to stay available for you to use. So although the live stream is going to end in a few minutes, you can keep working on this, or you can come back to it tomorrow or next week or whenever you want and play the activity.
Play it tonight if you like.
You could.
Why not?
You could go home and play it too.
Daniel, this has been really well. This is going really well so far. I think everyone has done a fantastic job, like cracking the different passwords as well. And I hope that you'll keep doing that just now.
Yeah, let's think about what you have just done in the last 45 minutes. You have gotten up to speed with Python, which is one of the most popular programming languages in the world. A lot of you, this is your first time using Python. So I think that's a really big achievement itself. You have then edited Python code to hash some passwords. You've then used that code that you edited and you wrote to find matches in a list for some common poor passwords like the word password. And then you automated the whole thing. You did the computer programmer thing and you automated it to search for lots of popular passwords in this huge data breach of 1 million people. And you've been working through these 40 parts.
Well done, everyone. Thank you for being part of our cybersecurity team. We hope that if you ever have to store passwords, that you'll do a much better job at protecting them. Now, we are on YouTube today, so remember you can like the video, you can subscribe to our channel so that you see all our future activities as well. And we'll be back with another live lesson in the new year as well.
If you're a teacher or an adult, you can tweet us a photo of your class cracking their passwords, or you can send a screenshot or something interesting you found to us. You can use the hashtag #OurCode, and you can tag us to tag@DigitalWorldHQ.
Daniel, I've had so much fun cracking the passwords with everyone today, and I'm so impressed with the number of people that have managed to, a lot of them for the first time using Python to do this really quite complicated thing. Imagine going home at tonight and be like, well, what did you do today? I helped crack 1 million passwords from a website. So if you've had fun and you want to do more of this, you can try out some of our other cyber skills activities. The website is cyberskillslive.com. We've got interesting ones on there as well. You could be defending Stirling Castle from cyber attacks, or maybe if you've got a taste for crime now, you can try out the How to Steal a Pizza activity. So yeah, go to our website, cyberskillslive.com.
Brilliant. But we're going to wrap up now. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sending us and sharing your results in the messaging box. It's been really fun watching them and giving you shout outs. So keep up the good work, and I hope you're able to crack the rest of these 1 million passwords. But for now, it's goodbye from Craig.
Bye-bye.
And it's bye from me as well. See you next time.